In the annals of history, few names echo as powerfully as that of Martin Luther King Jr., a preacher, a dreamer, a fighter for justice. This is the story of a man who changed the course of history with words, courage, and an unwavering belief in equality. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. His upbringing in the segregated South exposed him early to the harsh realities of racial inequality. Despite these challenges, his parents, Martin Luther King Sr. and Alberta Williams King, provided a strong foundation of faith, education, and resilience. His father, a Baptist minister and civil rights advocate, inspired young Martin with sermons on equality and justice, while his mother, a schoolteacher, nurtured his intellect and curiosity. At 15, King entered Morehouse College, following in his father's footsteps. There, he met mentors who deepened his understanding of social justice, including Dr. Benjamin Mays, a theologian and civil rights leader who challenged King to see religion as a force for change. By the time King graduated from Crozer Theological Seminary and earned his doctorate at Boston University, he had developed a profound belief in nonviolence, inspired by the teachings of Jesus and Mahatma Gandhi. These principles would define his life's work. King's leadership was tested in Montgomery, Alabama, in 1955. When Rosa Parks refused to give up her bus seat to a white man, the Montgomery bus boycott was born. At just 26 years old, King was chosen to lead the effort. The boycott lasted 381 days, during which Black residents walked miles to work or carpooled instead of taking public buses. Despite threats, arrests, and violence, King and the Black community stood firm, ultimately achieving a Supreme Court ruling that desegregated buses. This marked the beginning of King's national prominence and his lifelong commitment to nonviolent resistance. He once said, "Nonviolence is not sterile passivity, but a powerful moral force which makes for social transformation." King co-founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, in 1957, using Black churches as a base for organizing protests and advocating for civil rights. Through sit-ins, boycotts, and marches, the movement gained momentum, but not without resistance. In 1963, King led the Birmingham campaign, targeting segregation in one of America's most racially divided cities. Images of peaceful protesters being attacked by police dogs and water hoses shocked the nation, bringing global attention to the struggle for equality. During his imprisonment in Birmingham, King penned his famous Letter from Birmingham Jail, defending nonviolent resistance. He wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." That same year, King delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington. Standing before 250,000 people, he envisioned a future where people would be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. While King's efforts led to significant victories, such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the path was fraught with challenges. He faced criticism from all sides. Some believed his methods were too passive, while others thought he was too radical. King expanded his focus to include economic justice, launching the Poor People's Campaign to address poverty across racial lines. He also spoke out against the Vietnam War, linking militarism to inequality. A nation that continues to spend more on military defense than social uplift is approaching spiritual death, he declared. These stances alienated some allies, but King remained steadfast. His vision of justice extended beyond race, advocating for all marginalized groups. In 1968, King traveled to Memphis, Tennessee, to support striking sanitation workers. These workers, who endured unsafe conditions and low wages, embodied the struggle for dignity and equality. On April 3, 1968, King delivered his final speech, the prophetic "I've Been to the Mountaintop." In it, he spoke of the journey toward justice, acknowledging that he might not live to see its culmination. "I've seen the promised land," he said. "I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land." The next day, on April 4th, King was assassinated on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. His death sent shockwaves around the world, but his dream lived on. King's assassination did not mark the end of his influence. The civil rights movement he led inspired legislation, activism, and global efforts for justice. His life's work is commemorated each year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and his words continue to inspire movements for equality and human rights worldwide. From the Black Lives Matter movement to global efforts for peace, King's legacy endures. Dr. King once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." His life bent that arc profoundly, reminding us all that the fight for justice is both a collective and enduring responsibility. Martin Luther King Jr. taught us that change begins with courage, that love is stronger than hate, and that dreams have the power to shape reality. His legacy is not just history, it is a call to action for generations to come.